They walk among us like ordinary people, but they move like gods who cannot be touched. From Kim Jong-un's ghost convoy to Putin's invisible stronghold. The most powerful leaders in the world are not just protected. They are hidden behind thick layers of paranoia, advanced technology, and fear. What are the secrets hidden behind their armored limos and AI-powered surveillance? Watch until the end because there is one leader guarding a secret so unusual that it will change the way you look at power forever. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Kim Jong-un, the human shield leader. He moves like a ghost and leads like a shadow. Kim Jong-un, supreme leader of North Korea, has made personal security an art form shaped by deep paranoia. Imagine a bulletproof Mercedes Maybach gliding through the eerily silent streets of Pyongyang, followed by 12 bodyguards running in unison, all dressed in tailor-made suits. This isn't a show or choreography, it's survival theater. Every public appearance he makes is a carefully planned illusion, a magic trick that deliberately blurs the line between fear and respect. Whenever Kim travels, it's never just a single plane, train, or convoy. Decoys move simultaneously, private jets fly aimlessly, and armored vehicles reach dead ends. His personal plane, an old Soviet-era Ilyushin 62 called Air Force One, may look outdated, but it's surrounded by heavy surveillance, escort aircraft, and radar jamming systems. Kim is saved by unpredictability, not speed. What really chills you isn't the armored fleet, it's the silence. Even his own chefs don't know what he'll eat until just a few minutes before he does. All food is checked for poison and the cutlery is cleaned in front of him. All staff are vetted for 3 generations. And if the Riemann ever questions your loyalty, the response is swift, harsh, and final. Purges within his inner circle are common. A clear message that being close to power is not always a privilege. It's a danger. His residences are as secretive as his movements. Kim has more than a dozen palaces across North Korea, and many of them are unknown to the public. There are underground tunnels, missile defenses, and luxury amenities rivaling 5-star resorts. And these are not just for protection, they are also designed for comfort. These are more than places to sleep, they're sanctuaries of control. And this level of secrecy doesn't come cheap. It's estimated that North Korea spends hundreds of millions of dollars every year just for Kim's personal security, in a country where blackouts are normal and famine is always looming. The exact budget may be classified, but satellite images show expanding compounds and more sophisticated anti-aircraft installations, clear signs of a leader determined to survive, amid threats from both outside and within. In Kim Jong-un's world, trust is a myth and being seen is a danger. He is both the king and the prisoner of the system he himself created. And the more you look into this world, the more you feel that he is not traveling around the country. He is hiding in it. Xi Jinping, the algorithm-protected president. Thanks for watching. He doesn't just enter a room. The room itself is changed for him. When Xi Jinping appears publicly, everything from the clouds above to crowd faces and camera angles has been carefully planned and controlled. This is more than basic security, it's algorithmic control. Welcome to the high-tech surveillance empire built not just to protect one person, not just to defend. The protection of the president of China is not only physical, it is systematic. His every move is monitored by an invisible army, the China Central Security Bureau, a highly secretive force that does not answer to any civilian authority. They don't just guard the president, they arrange his world before he even appears in public. Facial recognition systems are already working, scanning people in the crowd and comparing every face to a massive state database. Above, drones equipped with biometric sensors analyze micro-expressions and body temperature to detect even the slightest signs of deceit or deception. The real genius of this system is its control over nature. For major events, cloud seeding keeps the sky blue, because rain, like danger, is never allowed to fall on the president. The entire city is shut down. Traffic is rerouted. Civilians are sent home, and the atmosphere becomes a script, with the president playing the only meaningful role. Even those allowed to approach him, doctors, chefs, and translators, undergo obsessive screening. Psychological tests, loyalty checks, and multi-generational background checks are conducted. The barber who cuts the president's hair may have had his family audited several times, and if there's even the slightest inconsistency, they're removed from the roster and sometimes even from public records themselves. Inside Songnahe, the Chinese political elite's walled compound, tiers aren't gold or marble, but invisible. Knowing you can be watched without knowing when or how. His mansion is protected by a signal jammer, bulletproof walls, and a data fortress that's more secure than most militaries in the world. According to leaked reports, China spends over $1 billion a year on personal security and surveillance connected to the president and other senior party members. His security is not just a reflection of fear, it's a performance of absolute power. The less the public sees flaws, the stronger the illusion. In China, the president, the most powerful person, is protected not just by walls and guards, but by a machine that edits reality as it happens. Once reality is edited, it can't be changed. Vladimir Putin, the invisible fortress. Thank you for watching. He doesn't hide in the shadows, he is the shadow. Vladimir Putin turned the art of being invisible into a weapon more powerful than any missile. While other leaders walk behind bulletproof glass, Putin walks behind walls of uncertainty, paranoia, and mythology. He was shaped by a security force so secretive that even Russian generals hesitate to engage with it. At the very center of this empire is the Federal Protective Service, and according to reports, its budget reaches over $2 billion a year. But the Federal Protective Service isn't just a bodyguard unit. It's a state within a state. They don't just control who gets to see Putin, they control who gets to know where he is. When Putin moves, several motorcades leave from different locations at the same time. All are bulletproof with tactical teams, but only one carries the real Putin. He could be inside the Kremlin, where every hallway, seat, and doorknob forms a high-tech maze built to detect, deceive, and neutralize threats. Proximity alone isn't enough for trust. Even cooks and janitors are frequently rotated, routines altered, and their personal lives examined. Cameras are in the break room, conversations are recorded, and loyalty must always be proven, not assumed. He rarely drinks first from open glasses, even in meetings. Instead, there are personal food tasters, selected and vetted by the Federal Security Service for every meal. This is not just precaution, it's complete control. The fewer the chances of contamination, the stronger the illusion of being untouchable. But the most frightening tactic is the illusion of being everywhere. Putin might be in Sochi, a nuclear bunker in the Urals, or somewhere else entirely, and that's the point. Between 2020 and 2023, Western intelligence tracked 5 simultaneous Putin sightings within 48 hours. This isn't a hologram, it's expert logistics, decoys, and double lives. The secrecy extends online, with communication stripped of metadata and messages routed through underground military-grade servers. His online presence is really like a ghost, very minimal. Always planned, no off-guard Putin, never caught on camera, only the version he wants you to see. In the end, Putin's most powerful weapon is not tanks or missiles, but perception. Weaponized, encrypted, and always one step ahead of the truth. You don't attack a shadow, it scares you. And in Russia, that fear is wearing a Brioni suit worth $10,000 and travels in a convoy you could never follow. Mohammed bin Salman, the high-tech monarch. He didn't just lead Saudi Arabia, he transformed it. Behind the clean robes and diplomatic smiles, Mohammed bin Salman, or better known as Mohammed bin Salman, is shaping a new blueprint of power, a power encrypted in algorithms and wrapped in steel. His security is not just a detail, it's a blatant system. Imagine artificial intelligence that can read micro-expressions, able to detect even the slightest hint of possible betrayal. Inside his palaces and convoys, the cameras don't just record, they analyze. If a guard's gaze lingers for half a second or a staff member's pulse quickens, the system logs, flags, and acts immediately. Loyalty is not only expected but measured. His cars aren't just bulletproof, some are designed to self-destruct if compromised, erasing internal data and even the structure itself before the enemy can get close. And these aren't luxury cars, they're moving fortresses worth millions of dollars each. Armored Rolls-Royces with biometric locks, drone-jamming limousines, and constantly rerouted convoys create a shell game that's tough even for the CIA to track. Then there are the residences, or rather, the citadels. According to rumors, Mohammed bin Salman's private estate near the Red Sea is guarded by a facial recognition gate, fingerprint lock, and robotic sentries that patrol day and night. There are estimates that over $500 million were spent on its construction and equipment. And this is no longer just a house, but a high-tech vault for royalty. Following the Jamal Khashoggi incident, security tightened further, making the former elite uneasy. The staff go through intense vetting, and some are said to even live inside the compounds themselves. Their movements are restricted, communications monitored, and loyalty constantly tested. In this environment, caution isn't optional, it's standard procedure. But here's the psychological twist. Mohammed bin Salman isn't hiding, he's showing himself. Unlike Putin's mysterious shadow, Mohammed bin Salman wants you to see the drones above and the robotic guards at the door. Part of the message is that you can't reach me, and I see you before you see me. Even his public appearances are carefully staged displays of domination, from meeting with global CEOs to the Senate. Even to receiving world leaders at Al Yamana Palace. Every frame is filled with wealth, surveillance, and power. His $500 million super yacht equipped with a missile detection system and its own helipad is not just a toy. It is a floating symbol of untouchability. Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, the survivor's defense. He didn't just lead Turkey, he surpassed it. And in his case, survival is a profession. After surviving a deadly coup attempt in 2016, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan changed the very rules of presidential protection. What started as ordinary security became an empire of relentless vigilance, a system that consumes about $28 million a year, and that's just what the public can see. Behind every speech, every handshake, and every sudden change of schedule, there's a hidden multi-layer fortress of fear and strategy. His inner circle is made up of about 1,000 personal guards trained not only for close combat, but also in psychological profiling and emergency counteraction. Most are ex-special forces, handpicked for their total loyalty. The guards' personal lives are monitored as strictly as Erdoğan's travel routes. Routes are changed at the last minute, and communication is encrypted on devices they made themselves. In both Istanbul and Ankara, it's now common for whole districts to close for a motorcade. Windows are closed, every rooftop is secured. And when the convoy passes, Erdoğan isn't just traveling, he's occupying the space. His motorcade includes dozens of armored vehicles, drone surveillance teams, a counter-sniper unit, and mobile jammers that neutralize remote-controlled explosives. His custom Mercedes Maybach is not only bulletproof, but also blast-resistant and fully sealed. Reports say it costs about $1.5 million. Each convoy is a moving fortress, followed by helicopters and supported by local police and military units that are always on standby. His private airplane, a $100 million Airbus A330-200 Prestige, has an anti-missile system and advanced communication encryption designed for survival, even against cyber attacks. Inside, it resembles a war room more than a luxury lounge with a real-time intelligence briefings and crisis protocols. This isn't about extravagance. For Erdoğan, opulence is a weapon signaling strength. Behind the steel and screens, there's a man who knows the cost of being unprepared. On that night in 2016, his hotel room was raided just minutes after he escaped. On that night in 2016, his room was raided. Since then, every move has been calculated, every glance a signal, every silence a message. Defending Erdoğan also protects the idea that he is untouchable, always 10 steps ahead and never again to be caught off guard by chaos that almost ended his leadership. He leads a country at war not from behind a desk, but right from the edge of danger. Because Vladimir Zelensky is not just Ukraine's president. He is now the nation's heartbeat, a target and a shield. Since the first missiles lit up Kiev's skies, the president's life has become a lesson in unpredictability. No one ever knows for long where he is. He never sleeps in the same place twice. Meetings shift from bunkers to basements and from war rooms to the inside of train compartments suddenly moving through the Ukrainian countryside. His presence is like a moving shadow, designed to avoid the crosshairs of Russian drones, mercenaries, and intelligence networks. Ukraine has built unmatched defenses to protect him. British Army veterans, thank you for watching. With a small and highly mobile force, they plan every detail, from encrypted satellite calls to an emergency evacuation plan that includes a decoy vehicle and a double-layered convoy. The team includes cyber specialists guarding against digital intrusion, sharpshooters on city rooftops, and analysts reading satellite data as it is received in real time. This is all for one person, and the whole system resets every 12 hours. But what's truly chilling about Zelensky's security isn't just the military sophistication, but the psychology behind it. His face appears on billboards, battlefront broadcasts, and Zoom calls with parliaments worldwide. But inside Ukraine, even those closest to him might not know where he'll be tomorrow. This intentional invisibility is not cowardice. It's survival wrapped in symbolism. And it's as if they're saying, we're still here even if you can't see us. When the convoy goes out, it includes custom armored SUVs that cost more than $150,000 each, and mobile jammers that can blanket an entire city block in digital silence. His communication network, built with the support of NATO, is encrypted at a military-grade level. He uses layered channels from the LBIT system and other secure protocols to ensure that there is no interception from his end. And unlike most heads of state, Zelensky doesn't hide behind luxury. His office could be a bunker, a train, or a hole in the ground. Because of the war, real power is not in size, in luxury, nor in the strength of endurance. Sometimes his briefing room is lit only by a flashlight, but the symbolism of this is very clear and intentional. While other leaders surround themselves with wealth and steel, Zelensky wraps himself in resistance, sacrifice, and the strength of his people. In Ukraine, safety is never guaranteed, even for the president. And that's exactly why his protection has become one of the most complicated and dynamic operations in modern geopolitical history. Alexander Lukashenko, the banker boss, thank you for watching. He doesn't lead from an office. He rules from a fortress buried inside a highly militarized zone, surrounded by tanks, soldiers, and barbed wire. Alexander Lukashenko, often called the last dictator of Europe, did not just build a presidency. He built a regime reinforced by paranoia, repression, and psychological warfare. Inside his main compound, which is isolated from the public, the media, and even most government officials, every wall speaks the language of control. This is not just a residence, it's a multi-layered bunker, equipped with a jamming system, underground escape tunnels, and multiple decoy exits. Every movement is monitored, conversations are recorded, and even the air seems to have eyes watching. But it's not just the walls that protect him. It's the system's relentless rotation. No aide, chef, or guard stays long. His personal staff is always replaced. The goal is to ensure no one gets too familiar, no one talks, and no one knows everything, preventing betrayal before it starts. Lukashenko's power extends beyond his physical fortress. A nationwide surveillance web connects everything, from private messages to conversations on the street. The security forces have extensive powers, armed with facial recognition software, wiretapped phone lines, and AI-assisted tracking systems that can rival those of wealthier countries. And then there's the uniform. In almost every public appearance, Lukashenko is seen in military fatigues alongside elite commandos. This isn't fashion, it's a message that I am the state, I am the power, and I am the one watching. Despite Belarus's modest economy, it's estimated that millions of dollars are spent every year just to maintain Lukashenko's personal security infrastructure. Secret bankers, encrypted communication hubs, and imported armored convoys. In the world of modern leaders, Lukashenko may not have the biggest budget. But when it comes to creating an environment of fear, loyalty, and absolute isolation, he is one of the most surgically effective. Because of him, security is not just a strategy, it's an obsession. Felix is Tshisekedi, the fortified leader. He walks in a mineral-rich country devastated by insecurity. Felix, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, may not always make international headlines, but the fortress surrounding him has a story that few people dare to investigate. His security is not just a shield, it's a machine that costs more than $100 million a year. It runs on loyalty, secrecy, and a force shaped by outsiders. Unlike other presidents who lean on established institutions, Felix built his inner circle from the ground up, a private military force that answers only to him and even surpasses the national army itself. They're not just bodyguards, they're a strategic firewall. All were handpicked and trained under foreign supervision, including elite advisors from Russia and China. In a cryptic but chilling message, protection comes first. Trust no one, not even in Kinshasa. The presidential compounds were wrapped in multiple layers of defense, both physical and psychological, with surveillance systems imported from Chinese tech firms monitoring every street around his residence. Meetings are set at exact times, movements are strictly controlled, and food deliveries require 3 levels of clearance. No one knows where Felix sleeps each night. But maybe the most noticeable thing is how isolated he is now. In a country where suspicion often begins from within, even allies are kept at a calculated distance. Few aides stay long due to constant rotation, and anyone close to him is scrutinized not only for loyalty, but also for total emotional control under pressure. If you're asking why such extreme caution is necessary, it's because Congo's wealth has long been accompanied by a curse: coup, foreign interference, and internal sabotage. Felix may be smiling in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, he leads like a man standing in the middle of a minefield. All of this, the layered security, constant surveillance, private soldiers, and high-tech contracts, comes at a staggering cost of over $100 million a year in a country where the average citizen lives on less than $2 a day. This is the harshest paradox of power. The higher you climb, the more you fear the ground you stand on. Thank you for watching. Now, how about you? Which of the president's security measures surprised you the most? Share your opinion in the comments. And before we end, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see each other again in our next video. Thank you for watching.